Hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello, hi. So today's candle of the day is the Patriarchy candle from We the People. I have a Black-owned business haul coming, I believe, later this week, and this is part of it, but I wanted to showcase it because I'm obsessed with how it smells. Literally so good. Hi, so today's video, we're going to be talking about, I apologize for how dramatic the title is, but it came into my head and I was like, yeah, that kind of perfectly describes what's happening right now. Basically, I want to talk about what's been going on with Patrick Starr the past few weeks and also kind of make some comparisons with other more problematic influencers on the platform and how some influencers are somehow able to make being problematic their brand and they're able to thrive and become literal millionaires by being like not great people, and how people like Patrick Starr are not able to do the same thing. So I just want to get into it, talk about it, and yeah, let's do it. Also, today's video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Roll it. Today's video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. A VPN, or a virtual private network, creates a secure tunnel between your device and the internet and helps to prevent things like hackers and data stealing. Not only that, but a VPN also gives you unrestricted access to all parts of the internet while also providing some of the fastest internet speeds. ExpressVPN allows you to reroute your connection to literally any server in any country of your choice. That kind of makes geo restrictions a thing of the past. Another big reason I love using ExpressVPN is because I know that my data is secure and that my internet service provider won't be able to track all the sites I visit and sell it off to advertisers. But I actually end up using it mostly just so I can watch Netflix in other countries. Currently, I've been loving watching Modern Family, which is not available for some reason on the US Netflix, but is absolutely available when I put myself in Canada. Find out how to get 3 months free by clicking the link in the description or going to expressvpn.com/smokyglow. Thank you so much to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. This is truly a service I love, and I'm really excited to work with them. So thanks, ExpressVPN. Thank you so much to ExpressVPN. Please go check out the link in the description down below. And yeah, let's get into the video. So there have been two major things that happened kind of recently with Patrick Starr that I think have been building this sort of animosity towards him as a creator. The first thing that happened was a video surfaced from Nikita Dragun's birthday party of Patrick Starr and Tana Mongeau making out. I did a video last week called What the Heck Happened This Week, and I purposefully did not talk about this in that video because the video is just kind of gross. I don't like seeing anybody really make out, influencers like that. I just always think PDA is kind of weird. But past that, I really don't want to see two people make out who I know are not social distancing together and are not in the same bubble in the middle of a pandemic. I just think it's weird. I also think it's weird because Patrick Starr does not really have that sort of reputation. Like, Tana Mongeau makes out with people all the time, that it's kind of like, okay, that's just like what she does, it's her brand. But Patrick Starr doesn't really have that sort of rep. Like, we've never seen him going crazy at parties or doing anything really out there. And it also just felt like a weird match. Like, him and Tana even being friends in the first place feels kind of weird, much less seeing them play like tonsil hockey. It was very awkward, okay? Now, I'm not gonna sit here and like make a whole video about something like that because it's like, okay, two influencers kissed at a party, like they made out, whatever. Then we got into another video that surfaced of him this week that was actually a TikTok that I believe one of his friends posted that was really unsettling. I'll play the video for you right here.
Fuck you and fuck all of you for canceling this bitch. She's the baddest bitch that I know and that you know. Fuck all of you, she's the best. And here's my motherfucking mask.
So it's basically him defending Nikita Dragun for partying during the pandemic, defending kind of her actions, and also telling everyone else to fuck off, alluding to the fact that he had a mask, but it was around his wrist, so that's where his mask was, not on his face. I do want to point out that if the mask is not on your face, it's completely pointless. I don't know why he said that, but it was basically him all charged up, like defending Nikita and basically telling everybody who was mad about the parties to go fuck Not a great look. It does seem that he was intoxicated in both of these videos. Like, it seems like he was drunk, but honestly, when you're an influencer, I would honestly, if I was an influencer and I still drank, I would literally not bring my phone out with me. Like, you say and do stupid stuff when you're drunk, I would literally just not even put the phone on airplane mode, like turn it off, like don't even bring the phone out with you. I don't understand why you're letting people record you saying this stuff when you have millions of followers. Anyway, both of these things happened, and he was rightfully getting a lot of hate for this video in particular, mostly because it was just really insensitive. And then what I think really bothered people was about 2 days after this video surfaced and after this video was being circulated, he had a new product from his brand. It was like a primer or something, and he was trying to just promote it as if nothing had happened. And everybody was very quick to make the sort of comparison between the way that Jeffree Star tends to market his makeup, similarly to people like Nikita Dragon, or where basically they drum up some type of scandal or something crazy right before a launch so that all eyes are on them when they launch a product. And this got a lot of people thinking that maybe that's something Patrick was trying to do. I don't think it's really a secret that One Size, his brand, is not, it didn't get off to a great start. It's not off to like amazing sales. A lot of the products are already on sale. Nothing really sold out. Not a lot of people talked about it. It was definitely more of a meh sort of launch. I'm sure he's like made some money, but it's definitely not like a sellout amazing brand that we see from other influencers. And I think the problem with Patrick is it's kind of a layered situation here. I think the first problem is Patrick Starr has been caught in a couple of scandals in his time, nowhere near people like Jeffree or Shane or anything like that, but he's definitely been caught in a few scandals of having this sort of diva behavior. Like, he's been caught rolling his eyes at fans and saying things that are kind of diva-ish, and that's really his whole thing. Now, Patrick is really interesting because his on-screen, I've been watching a lot of his videos the past few days, and it's very interesting, his on-screen persona, because in one sense, he has a very bubbly, friendly, kind, like bestie sort of vibe to his videos, but in the same breath, he also has that very sort of extra diva-like, you know, out there, loud sort of personality as well. So it's kind of this mixture of two different personalities. It is hard to feel that it's authentic sometimes, and I'm not sure why that is. I could speculate, but I think it's because sometimes the behavior that we've seen off camera, like the rolling at eyes at fans, or it's kind of like the stuff we see on camera, like the Rare Beauty review, was a huge problem for people because he basically compared Rare Beauty to his own brand and was basically putting down Rare Beauty's launch in order to raise up his own makeup. Which, by the way, if you're a brand owner, like, I don't know why you would ever think that's a good idea, but you see these sort of glimpses from him that don't necessarily match up to what he always is putting out on his main channel. And I think the thing that's really getting him right now is that because of these videos that have come out, it's almost exacerbated the problem. There's already been people who feel like he's maybe not the most authentic. There's already rumors that he's kind of dramatic and diva-like and maybe not the nicest. There's rumors now that he's putting down other brands to raise up his own and using his platform in that way. And so now when you're confronted with a person who you already kind of felt a little weird about maybe, telling you to go yourself because you care about the pandemic, it really is off-putting. And here's the thing that I find so incredibly interesting about this is, like, Patrick is not alone in doing that. He's not alone in saying those types of things. He's not, I mean, we all remember that video from Tana Mojo and Erica Costell where they were literally like, we do not care. We've all seen the fake apology videos. We've all seen people don't actually care. We've all seen people say horrible things. Like, we've seen it from influencers before, but for some reason, for a lot of influencers like Nikita, Jeffree Star, Tana, it works for them. They still are able to have a large following, a large fan base, and successful business ventures despite having that attitude. So why didn't it work for him? Because in theory, if he was really following the same sort of map that Jeffree Star had laid out, his product launch would have been a huge success. It would have been talked about, it would have sold out, people would have been raving about it. But instead, he has people roasting him under his tweet, basically calling him out for this video that he's yet to address. And I think that this kind of raises an interesting point on a couple of different things. Number one, I think it shows that sometimes being a good influencer, right? Like somebody with higher moral standard for yourself, somebody who maybe doesn't screw up as often, somebody who is just kind of doing their own thing, staying in their lane, focusing on the makeup, because that's always the narrative I hear around Patrick Starr. People really, really just appreciate that he stays out of the drama, he stays out of the fray. Whenever there's dramageddons, he's nowhere to be seen. And I think that that's a double-edged sword, because people view him as the person who's really just in it for the makeup and in it for the tutorials and non-problematic. But I also think that because he hasn't been involved in a lot of the recent scandals or drama that has happened in the last few years, I think because of that, his views and his subscriber count has really suffered. I did a video a while back where I discussed if drama channels were sort of helping creators in the long run, because I wanted to see if being talked about by drama channels and being talked about by, you know, everyone, if that in the long run helped your channel, if in the long run it helped you grow in subscribers and views. And honestly, the results were inconclusive because it wasn't really, you couldn't really tell from the data, but it did seem as though being talked about more means that you were more popular in the long run. It might hurt your career temporarily, but in the long run, you're going to be better off because of it. And I think because Patrick has stayed out of this fray, he's definitely taken a hit. So now it's a double-edged sword for him, because he's known as the kind of non-problematic, nice, all about the makeup guru, but now he's losing money. His brand is not as successful as he wants it to be. He is not being talked about as much as his other sort of cohort, like the group that he came up with, because he's staying out of everything. So do I think that this was an intentional decision to like jump into some drama to get his name out there, to build up hype for his brand? Like, do I think this was all sort of calculating? I don't know, but it kind of feels like it. It kind of feels like, whether subconsciously or not, he wanted to be talked about right now, whether it was negative or positive. I low-key think that he thought when he made that video, especially the one with Nikita, the Tana one, I don't even know what was going on there, but the one video defending Nikita, I low-key think that he thought that he would get way more support for that than he actually did, like if that got out. I low-key think that he thought people would be like, yeah, Patrick, all these snowflakes that care about other people's lives, screw them. Like, yeah, you don't wear your mask, Patrick. I low-key think that he thought people would be with him, and I think he knew he would get some hate, but I think he thought it would be more balanced. Whereas instead, it's pretty much all just hate. And I think the reason this isn't working for him the way that it would work for Jeffree or Nikita or Tana is because he didn't really have this sort of built-in a stan base, if you will. It's not even a fan base, it's a stan base. He doesn't have that sort of built-in stan base to support him and ride with him through all of his mistakes. Because at the end of the day, Patrick's brand of content, while I appreciate that he stays out of all the fray, his brand of content, we don't really know him. And I think Patrick and what's happening to him right now is a really, really perfect example of why the sort of traditional beauty guru is dying and kind of going away. Because I think people have a need for relatability and they want to hear people talk about makeup. It's why the small makeup community is just absolutely booming right now. Because people have this need and want to watch people that are relatable and watch people talk about makeup, but they want to watch people that talk about themselves too and are like real people that they feel like they know, that they feel like they're friends with. And with Patrick Starr's brand of makeup, and you could say the same thing about a lot of these, you know, makeup influencers that have like 4 million subscribers but can only get like 200,000 views. You can say this about pretty much all of them, that because they're kind of closed off and we don't know necessarily a ton about them as people, it definitely puts people off to them, unlike people like Nikita Dragun and Jeffree Star and James Charles and Tana Mongeau, who, whether we like it or not, are pretty open and honest about their lives in one way or another. James Charles is constantly showing videos with his friends. He's showing a different side to himself. Jeffree Star does the house tours and the random vlogs that he does. Tana Mongeau is Tana Mongeau. Like, these people show different sides of themselves, and in a turn, it makes them more personable and more relatable. So when they screw up like this, people are still inclined to support them because they feel like they know them and they feel related to them. Patrick Starr doesn't have that. I also think too, there's a whole other aspect to the Patrick Starr thing where it just feels so inauthentic. Like hearing him sit next to Nikita Dragun and telling everybody to F off and like, you know, cursing people out for caring about a pandemic, it felt so much like he was being like a try-hard almost. It almost felt like, you know, in school, and I don't mean this to be mean because I don't think Patrick's a terrible person, but I will say it felt like in school when you're trying to like impress the popular kids so that they'll be friends with you and invite you to the parties and stuff, so you want to like seem badass and cool and like you pretend to be somebody something that you're not, kind of, to get them to like you. That is quite literally exactly what it felt like. So again, when Tana or Jeff, I hate to keep reusing the same names, but it's like the same group of people, when they do something outrageous or offensive, at least it feels authentic. It feels like they're doing it because that's what they believe and that's what they think. And again, I think that's why a lot of people continue to support them because of it. I think the point of all of this is that some people can get away with this tactic of being provocative for views and attention, and some people simply cannot get away with it. Your public perception before you start doing things like this matters so much when it comes to these scandals and situations. And that's why I think Patrick is really going to feel the brunt of this in a very, very, very negative way. And I also don't even know if he apologized right now, if people would even like care or take that into consideration. And I think that's because it's so transparent that what he was trying to do was drum up hype for his brand in one way or another. And so I think what this whole conversation kind of says, because I think there's a lot of influencers right now who are struggling with this. Influencers who do what they do and stay to themselves and don't get involved in drama, but they don't see that same growth that their counterparts are seeing who are getting involved in the drama. And in a way, I can almost understand, I don't understand what he did, but I can understand the mindset of thinking, if I was a little bit more messy, if I was a little bit more problematic, I would be just as popular as my peers. So why not? Like, why not just give in and say the things I want to say and not care so I can be more popular like all of them, because that's what they do. I can almost understand why he felt that way, because it kind of sucks to be the quote unquote, I don't want to say like good or bad, but it sucks to be the one who's staying out of it, supposedly doing what everybody says they want you to do, and then nobody really cares or tunes in to the content you're producing as a result. How do sort of non-problematic, especially in makeup, influencers thrive these days? Because I know so many makeup influencers who have millions of subscribers, but I never really hear about them, and their views are incredibly low statistically for their channel because they're just not in the drama all the time. They almost suffer because they're doing the sort of right thing. And I think it's a really interesting sort of phenomenon specifically for makeup YouTubers, because I don't see that with other YouTube genres or celebrities or anything like that. You don't really need drama to thrive in any other sort of entertainment space, but for some reason, that makeup YouTube niche, you do. I would argue lifestyle YouTubers as well, but I just find it really interesting. And I don't really know what the solution is, I guess. But at the end of the day, the sort of drama is always going to be more salacious than somebody who's just applying foundation. But I think it's interesting. I would wonder if you guys have any ideas on how non-dramatic makeup influencers could stand out in this space and how they could continue to be popular and get in views without having to be problematic. Honestly, I think if bigger YouTubers want to do that, who they should be looking to is smaller YouTubers, because smaller makeup YouTubers pull in so many views with their makeup videos and their makeup content just by being personable and relatable and having good ideas and just talking about makeup. I feel like there is a way to do it. It's just not the traditional way that we saw beauty influencers growing a few years ago. I'm really interested to know what you guys think about this topic. I think it's super, super interesting. And yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. I think it's kind of a fun idea. But anyway, I love you guys so much. I hope you like this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch and my social media will be listed down below, along with my little social justice spotlight. Go check that out. Stay informed, stay involved. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!
What?